Hi guys, welcome to Classic Sitcoms, Facts, and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Before we get started, I ask you to please subscribe, please share these out. Thank you. Today's video is on I Love Lucy. 20 things that you may not know about I Love Lucy. 20 very interesting things about I Love Lucy. So how about we go check out I Love Lucy. Lucille Ball agrees to star in I Love Lucy only if her real-life husband was cast in a co-starring role. Network executives and sponsors reflecting xenophobic attitudes of the 1950s hesitated to showcase an interracial marriage on television. As Lucy remembered, they said the public wouldn't believe I was married to Desi. Lucille Ball held her ground and ultimately proved that the American public not only accepted Desi Arnaz, but venerated him as one of the most influential artists of the era and of the 20th century. Lucille Ball was the first woman to appear pregnant in one of the three major television networks. Desilu Studios consulted with the network censors and leadership from different religions organizations to determine that Lucy Ricardo would be described as expecting rather than pregnant. William Frawley was a devout baseball fan and had it written into his contract that he did not have to work when the Yankees were in the World Series, which they were in 51, 52, 53, 56, and 58. The Fred Mertz character was written out of 2 episodes because of this contractual clause. Lucy and Ricky Ricardo's fictional phone number was Murray Hill 59975. The New York Bell Telephone Company designated this unused phone number specifically for the show. The I Love Lucy Christmas episode was one of the first holiday specials in television history. It was removed from regular rerun syndication for decades. In 2013, 8.7 million viewers tuned in when CBS aired a colorized version of the episode during the holiday season. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were the television industry's first millionaires. Most television shows in the early 50s were shot live in New York City. I Love Lucy was among the very first shows to film in L.A., contributing to a trend that established Hollywood as the capital of broadcasting in the United States. Lucille Ball's mother, Dee Dee, attended every single taping of I Love Lucy, and her distinctive laughter can be heard clearly on the show's soundtrack. The pilot episode of I Love Lucy was shot on March 2nd, 1950, which was Desi Arnaz's 33rd birthday. The episode was considered lost for nearly 40 years until an original 35mm print was discovered in the home of Pepito Perez, one of Desi Arnaz's closest creative collaborators. The first few seconds of the film were damaged beyond repair, but the rest of the show was aired in a special CBS tribute on April 30th, 1990, hosted by Lucy Arnaz. I Love Lucy's credit sequence originally featured cartoon versions of Lucy and Ricky Ricardo that were created by Hanna-Barbera Animation Studio. These credits were replaced by the more familiar Satin Heart logo in syndication. In 1952, I Love Lucy became the very first sitcom to reach number 1 in the Nielsen ratings, where it stayed for 4 of the 6 seasons. I Love Lucy was adapted for television from popular radio comedy My Favorite Husband, which featured Lucille Ball opposite Richard Denning. The radio show was written by Jess Oppenheimer, Madeline Pugh, and Bob Carroll Jr., who all went on to write for I Love Lucy. Lucy Goes to the Hospital, an episode featuring the birth of little Ricky, was viewed by 44 million people. 15 million more viewers than would tune in to see President Eisenhower's inauguration the next day. Lucille Ball's personal favorite episode of I Love Lucy was Lucy's Italian movie, during which she hilariously stomps grapes at a winery in Italy. The original I Love Lucy concept was the successful orchestra leader and his movie star wife. Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, and the writers ultimately decided it was more interesting and more relatable if the characters were not portrayed as wealthy and famous. Every episode of the I Love Lucy show was shot in front of a live audience of 300 ticketed viewers, often tourists visiting Hollywood from around the country. For each taping, Desi Arnaz acted as MC, introducing the cast to the audience and warming the crowd up for the show. Although network executives refused the expense of shooting a television series in high-quality film, Arnaz and Ball insisted. They offered to pick up the tab for the extra expense under the condition that they would retain ownership of the films. That negotiation is widely considered one of the smartest business decisions in the history of American entertainment, as Desilu Studios went on to invent the concept of rerun and use profits from the I Love Lucy show syndication to fund the growth of the studio. I Love Lucy was pioneering for its use of multiple simultaneously filming cameras and a live studio audience. It was also one of the first TV shows to be shot on 35mm film rather than broadcast live. Lucille Ball considered I Love Lucy to be a form of exaggerated satire. She explained, "We started with a normal premise and take out our characters beyond that. Though the Lucy Ricardo character often finds herself in situations that seems to be far-fetched, they always rooted in motivations that are very logical." During Lucy Ricardo's on-screen pregnancy, hundreds of thousands of women from around the country wrote to Lucille Ball. As she remembered, "After our baby was born, I received 30,000 congratulatory telegrams and letters." Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm not a huge I Love Lucy fan, but I really enjoyed looking up this stuff. Some of it was pretty interesting, quite interesting actually. I had no idea that they were the first TV millionaires. No idea. Of course, it makes sense. I mean, they had Desilu Studios and all. That's all I got for you. I hope you did enjoy this. Have a great day. God bless you. And from the Philippines, I'll be praying for you.